Today, we're going to crack open a pretty remarkable conversation that happened about 2,500 years ago between two brilliant monks. But listen, this isn't just some dusty old history lesson. Think of this as a user's manual for your own mind. It's a timeless map that shows us the raw materials of our own experience, the path to finding real clarity, and ultimately a destination of profound freedom.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. The entire conversation kicks off with this incredibly direct question. One monk, Mahāvedallasutta, turns to his friend, the famous Sariputta, and asks him, basically, what does it mean to be witless? What is the absence of wisdom? And this one question, it just sets the stage for everything that's about to unfold. What does it mean to truly get it versus not getting it at all? So, how do you even begin to answer a question like that? Well, before you can find wisdom, you kind of need a map of the territory you're exploring, right? And that territory is your own mind. So Sariputta starts by breaking down our inner world, boiling down every single moment of our experience into three core ingredients.
First up, it all starts with feeling. Now, we're not talking about complex emotions here. The text is super specific about this. This is the raw, primal quality of any experience. Is it pleasant? Is it painful? Or is it just kind of neutral? That's it. That's the whole thing. It's the simple, direct sensation that the mind feels.
Okay, next ingredient, perception. This is basically the mind's labeling machine. It takes that raw feeling and it identifies it. It's the part that goes, oh, that's the color blue, or that's yellow, or that's the sound of a bell. Perception is what gives a name, a category, to our experience. It's what the mind perceives.
And finally, the third piece of the puzzle is consciousness. You can think of this as the underlying awareness itself. It's the knowing faculty. It doesn't do the feeling or the perceiving on its own. It cognizes both of them. It's like the light in the room that lets you see everything. It's the simple fact that you know an experience is happening at all.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The text makes a crucial point. These three things, feeling, perception, consciousness, they aren't happening one after the other in some neat little line. No, they are mixed, not separate. They're completely tangled up together. You can't pull them apart. You perceive what you feel, and you're conscious of what you perceive, all in one seamless, instantaneous flash.
In understanding this inner machinery, this brings us to the absolute heart of this ancient guide. This is the pivot point, the huge difference between the raw awareness that we all just have and the profound wisdom that we have to actively build.
So here's the bottom line. Consciousness is the raw material. It's the thing we need to understand. Wisdom, on the other hand, that's a skill. It's something that has to be developed. And get this, the text does this beautiful little flip. With just basic consciousness, you only cognize, or you're only aware of what you already understand. But when you develop wisdom, you can start to truly understand everything you're aware of. It completely reverses the flow.
And why is this so important? Why does this distinction matter? Well, because the whole point of developing wisdom, as Sariputta says, is for three things. First, to get direct, first-hand knowledge of reality. Second, to get a complete, total understanding of it. And finally, to use that understanding to give up, to let go of all the stuff that causes us stress and suffering.
Okay, so if wisdom is a skill that we can develop, how do we actually do it? This is where the dialogue gets really practical. It doesn't just leave us with a bunch of cool ideas, it gives us a clear step-by-step path for turning that raw, tangled-up consciousness into liberating wisdom.
So the text lays out this 5-step process for building what it calls right view. It's a progression. It all starts on the outside, with a foundation of ethics, just living in a way that's skillful and doesn't cause harm. That creates the stability you need for the intellectual part, learning the teachings and then having discussions to really wrestle with their meaning. And only when you've got that groundwork in place can you turn inward to cultivate serenity, a calm, settled mind, which is the final piece you need for true discernment. The ability to see things exactly as they are.
And check this out. This is a perfect illustration of how you develop that serenity. It's a trade-off, plain and simple. To get into this state of deep, blissful focus, which the text calls an absorption, you have to consciously let go of these 5 major mental roadblocks, things like ill will and restlessness. And what do you get in return?
You gain these 5 powerful factors of concentration, like bliss and a unified mind. It's a direct exchange. You release the static, and the clear signal comes through. It's brilliant. All right, so we've mapped the mind, we've walked the path. But where are we going? Where does this all lead? Now we get to the destination, a state of ultimate freedom that the text describes in some really fascinating ways.
Now, to explain the absolute peak state, which is called the cessation of perception and feeling, the text makes this very striking comparison. It wants to be absolutely clear. This state is not death. In a dead body, right, vitality is gone, warmth is gone, the senses have broken down. But in this deep meditative state, the vitality and the warmth are still there, and most importantly, the mental faculties are described as being very clear. It's a state of incredible stillness that is also somehow fully alive and totally lucid.
And in the end, the text explains that it doesn't really matter what you call this goal. You can call it the limitless release or the release through nothingness. They're all just different names pointing to the exact same thing. And what is that thing? It's an unshakable freedom of the heart. A mind that is finally, completely, and totally empty of the 3 roots of all our suffering: greed, hate, and delusion. And so that brings us to the end of the map. And really, it brings us back to you. We've taken this incredible journey through a 2,500-year-old guide to the mind, from understanding the raw, messy stuff of our daily experience to seeing the path that turns simple awareness into real wisdom, all the way to the final goal of unshakable freedom. So the only question left is, looking at this ancient map, where do you see yourself right now?